The Mazda CX-90 Turbo S came into our long-term fleet carrying the weight of big expectations. In a segment crowded with three-row SUVs that prioritize comfort and convenience over driver engagement, Mazda promised something different. With a rear-wheel drive-based platform, a longitudinally mounted turbocharged inline-six, and premium aspirations, the CX-90 looked like a bold step forward. Over 40,000 miles, however, that promise proved harder to realize than the spec sheet suggested. Our journey began with a strong first impression. The CX-90 Turbo S Premium Plus arrived finished in deep crystal blue mica, wearing elegant proportions and restrained styling that stood apart from the visual noise of many rivals. Under the hood sat Mazda's new 3.3-liter turbocharged inline-six, producing 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque when fed premium fuel. On paper, that output positioned the CX-90 as one of the most powerful offerings in the mainstream three-row segment, and early comparison testing backed up the optimism when the Mazda emerged victorious against established competitors. That initial enthusiasm earned the CX-90 a place in our long-term test program. Not long after, misfortune struck. A collision sent our first CX-90 to an early retirement, forcing a replacement that was nearly identical, save for a caramel interior instead of white and a switch from Toyo Open Country A50 tires to Falken ZX CT60A all seasons. Those seemingly minor differences would play a larger role than expected as the miles accumulated. From a performance standpoint, the CX-90 delivered respectable numbers. Acceleration improved as the test went on, with the sprint to 60 miles per hour dropping from 6.4 seconds when new to 6.1 seconds at 40,000 miles. Braking distances shortened as well, and skid pad grip recovered slightly by the end of testing. On paper, the Mazda's performance placed it comfortably among competitors, and even within striking distance of lighter vehicles Mazda has produced in the past. Yet numbers only tell part of the story. Behind the wheel, the CX-90 never felt as engaging as its hardware implied. In normal drive mode, throttle response was dulled, steering felt heavy but slow, and body roll was more pronounced than expected. The overall sensation was one of reluctance, as if the vehicle were constantly holding something back. Sport mode sharpened throttle response, but it failed to inject meaningful feedback into the steering, which mostly communicated understeer rather than confidence. The powertrain itself became a frequent source of frustration. Mazda's decision to replace a traditional torque converter with a clutch pack resulted in low-speed behavior that felt inconsistent and sometimes coarse. Engagement could be abrupt, and the 8-speed automatic transmission often stumbled during the 1-to-2 upshift. Short shifting into second gear at low engine speeds made the CX-90 feel sluggish in everyday driving, undermining the advantage of its strong torque figures. Compounding the issue was ride quality. Despite its premium positioning, the CX-90 rode firmly, often uncomfortably so. Broken pavement and highway expansion joints sent sharp impact through the cabin, and the large 21-inch wheels amplified the problem. Switching to winter tires softened the edges slightly, but the underlying stiffness remained. This was not a case of sacrificing comfort for sharp handling either, as the CX-90 never rewarded the firm setup with exceptional agility. Tires played an outsized role in shaping our impressions. The original Toyo tires provided better grip and braking performance, while the Falkens on the replacement vehicle delivered less traction and wore quickly. Replacing them before 30,000 miles added to operating costs and reinforced the sense that the CX-90's dynamic potential was being limited by its footwear. Where the Mazda consistently impressed was efficiency. Averaging 22 miles per gallon over 40,000 miles, including towing duties, the CX-90 proved remarkably frugal for a large, powerful SUV. highway fuel economy exceeded expectations, with 30 miles per gallon observed at a steady 75 miles per hour. Compared with hybrid competitors, the Mazda held its own, delivering long range and fewer fuel stops on extended trips. Reliability also stood out as a bright spot. Aside from scheduled maintenance, the CX-90 required no unplanned dealer visits. Software updates addressed recalls without incident, and total service costs remained reasonable. Over the long haul, the Mazda proved dependable, an attribute that should not be overlooked in a family-focused vehicle. Step inside the cabin, and the CX-90 made a strong case for itself. Materials were rich, fit and finish were excellent, and the overall design felt genuinely upscale. Soft leather, tasteful metal accents, and a fabric-wrapped dashboard created an inviting environment that rivaled more expensive SUVs. Front and second-row seats were comfortable and supportive, making long journeys easy on occupants. However, practicality suffered in key areas. Storage space was limited, with a shallow center console and few covered compartments. The third row, despite the CX-90's generous exterior dimensions, remained cramped compared with class leaders. Infotainment usability also detracted from the experience. Mazda's menu-heavy interface made simple tasks unnecessarily complex, turning routine adjustments into multi-step processes that tested patience over time. Driver assist systems further highlighted the gap between ambition and execution. Lane centering and adaptive cruise control worked inconsistently, sometimes braking unexpectedly or losing track of lane markings. While not dangerous, these behaviors eroded confidence and added to the list of small frustrations that accumulated throughout ownership. As the months passed, our overall sentiment became clearer. The CX-90 Turbo S looked and felt premium in many respects, but it failed to deliver the cohesive driving experience we hoped for. The exterior design and interior craftsmanship promised a level of engagement and refinement that the dynamics could not sustain. Compared with the outgoing CX-9, which blended comfort with a surprising degree of driver involvement, the CX-90 felt more distant and less special. After 40,000 miles, we closed the logbook feeling let down. The Mazda CX-90 Turbo S is not a bad vehicle. It is efficient, reliable, handsome, and impressively appointed, but it is also compromised by an unrefined powertrain, a stiff ride, and driving dynamics that never rise to meet its potential. We wanted to believe there was a genuinely fun, premium driving SUV hidden beneath the surface. After months of searching, we came up short, leaving the CX-90 as a reminder that ambition alone is not enough to redefine a segment.